Thank you for tuning in to Entertain the Geeky, your source for nerd news.
Hey everyone, what's up? This is Jason, and it's been a while, but we are back at you with more nerd news. This has probably been done. In fact, when I was researching this, I saw many other podcasting and video people who've already done this, but we're a little behind right now. But I got Jams with me here today.
Hi.
And we are going to talk about who we think should play the X-Men characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
Because, let's be honest. It's, at this point, it's pretty much a done deal for Disney to purchase Fox. They've had a couple of holdups, but nothing that is in any way indicative of the deal not going through, right? These are all just common things that come up when a big company buys another big company. We as MCU fans, we're all, I guess, hopeful that means we're going to see the X-Men finally take their place alongside the Avengers in one cohesive universe.
And I have nothing wrong with the previous cast that we had for X-Men. I hope some of them get to keep their jobs, but I could completely understand a total restructure.
Yeah, I have a little bit wrong with some of the casting that we've had. Let's talk about that a little bit first, right? Because while I do think Hugh Jackman is great, and he's been a perfect Wolverine, he doesn't look like Wolverine at all.
He's not short. He doesn't say Bub. These are the two most important things.
He did say Bub a couple of times. He did it in the first movie, and I think he did it in the second movie.
He did it once in the first movie.
He did do it once in the first movie, but I think he did it in the second movie too.
Yeah.
But the point is, Hugh Jackman's great, and he played the character very well. I think he understood the character's motivations really well.
Yeah.
But physically, he just did not embody who this person is on the page. That we've, as fans, we've read about him for so long. The thing that I've always found funny and comical about looking at panels with Wolverine talking to people who are taller than him is that he has to look up to intimidate them.
Yeah. Which
in and of itself is not intimidating, but he is the most intimidating character in the X-Men universe.
Yeah. That's true.
And in all reality, I wasn't big on Anna Paquin as Rogue, because I think, not to say anything against Anna Paquin, because I've definitely seen shows and movies that she's been in that she's very good in. But I think Rogue is, yes, I do like her as a younger character coming in, and seeing a teenager come to terms with the kind of power that Rogue has is an interesting story to tell. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think Anna Paquin was the right choice. I don't think she did the Southern thing believably, and I just didn't like her that much as the character.
I think she did a good job.
But again, none of these actors are bad, right? Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. I
think Cyclops was good.
Marsden was okay.
Yeah.
Marsden definitely looked like Cyclops.
He looked like he had to stick up his ass, and that's what you need for Cyclops.
Yeah, he did. He also had the leadership thing going down. He definitely had that commanding tone to him and stuff. Yeah. But regardless, obviously some of these characters, if not all of these characters, will probably be recast by Marvel if and when they initially integrate them into the universe. Yeah. So we kind of went through just the main the main characters. The X-Men, me personally, we didn't collaborate on this. We kind of just talked about what we were going to do.
You literally called me yesterday and said, hey, we're going to do a podcast about the X-Men recast. So put something together, do some research. And I just did essentially the big ones that we start out with the comic and then the fan favorites.
Right.
And you did the Brotherhood of Mutants and I didn't.
Yeah.
So
you did Iceman and
Angel and
I didn't. Yeah. I went with Xavier, Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean, Storm, Rogue, Beast, and Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Because, yes, Beast and Nightcrawler were both only in one movie. Well, Beast was in 2 movies. He had a cameo in Days of Future Past. And Nightcrawler got to be seen as an adult in one movie, and then we went back in time, and we're now watching him as a child. Yeah. But I still think they're interesting inclusions, and they're core characters, for sure.
Beast is definitely a plot division character.
Yeah.
We need to go see Beast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I did the Brotherhood. I just did the initial Brotherhood from the first movie. So Magneto, Mystique, Sabretooth, and Toad.
Yeah.
Because they were the first ones we were introduced to. And honestly, when you do the Brotherhood of Mutants, all those characters fit well within that organization.
Yeah.
But so I want to start with just a couple that I think should not be changed, right? I want to get that out of the way real quick because, yes, I do have a couple of names on my list, and I think you have a couple on yours as well, that just should not be changed.
Yeah.
And I think we agree on the one, and that it's Patrick Stewart should play Professor Xavier.
Yeah, the problem that Marvel had is when they decided to cast, when they started from the very beginning in 2000 to make an X-Men movie, they just picked the perfect role.
They did.
This is Patrick Stewart. That's all Patrick Stewart will be. It's going to be Professor X.
Yeah. And so I think, is it quite possible and most likely that we will get a recast Xavier? Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think that should happen. I really just think Patrick Stewart found it.
Yeah, I would really like Patrick Stewart to keep playing the role, but I can understand why he couldn't.
Yeah,
he is getting on in years, and I don't want to put too much pressure on him.
Sure, he is getting on in years, and he's got, a new Star Trek series that he's working on.
Yeah.
We're going to get Picard back, and hopefully as like a, an admiral who gets called back into active duty or something. I could really get into that. We haven't really heard much detail about what that show is going to be.
Yeah.
But the point is, he's great at the character, and when I was looking at actors, I just couldn't really come up with anybody who I thought, man, they'll do this better than Patrick Stewart, or they'll bring something new to the table, because he got all facets of the character.
I have two actors that I wrote down from research. I have one that we talked about earlier, Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
I would like to see him kind of come back and, if not be Beast again, maybe carry on this role.
Right.
I also considered J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, and I got to comment on that just because I really want, we talked about this a little bit earlier when we were just discussing this, but I really want J.K. Simmons to come back to the MCU as Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Because he was just so perfect as Jonah Jameson. And then the DC people cast him in Justice League as Commissioner Gordon, which was fine, whatever.
We're also getting a restructuring of the DC universe, so who knows what they're going to change.
But I would love it because honestly, Jameson has to play a part of the story at some point. He's just such a Spider-Man staple, right? Yeah. Even if it's just he's got a passing cameo, it should be J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
He understood it better than anybody else. But I could see where he could also play a different kind of character, right? Because he is a great actor and he does some really diverse roles. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for me, that was the other name on the list that I think was perfectly cast already, and that was Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody else play that character because we got very limited screen time with him in X-Men 3, which, let's be honest, was not the greatest movie they've made.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Days of Future Past erased it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. That is the best movie I've ever seen.
Okay. Oh, all right. No, I can't get into that. But he got a small cameo in Days of Future Past when they fix the future and everything's great and we see everybody alive again. Oh, I love all these characters. But he just understood the character so well. Like, he got the pontificating and the very, very strict articulation on words and just the jovialness of Beast and the intelligence of Beast. Yeah. Because Beast is a fun character. He's one of the greatest, and in all reality, for a while, he was the comic relief of the X-Men.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Because he would say something smart and then have to dumb it down to say it to Wolverine.
Yeah, and you still read stuff like that in the comics today.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I think Kelsey Grammer just had that, the balance that Beast has to be the intelligent man and the funny guy. Considering
those two factors, you need a Beast and you need a smart. I have two actors I would like to see, considerably. Yeah. I would like Joe Manganiello. Joe Manganiello.
I can't say that guy's last name.
I think it's Manganiello. Nope. Manganiello.
Yeah, he's currently Deathstroke in the DCEU.
That's true. Yes.
But yes, the only point I make against that is I really do think he just seems too tough guy. Yeah. Right. To be, and I'm not saying that he can't play the intelligent guy. I mean, we've obviously seen roles that he's been cast in where he's not just a typecast buff guy.
But he's too tough guy to be smart boy.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a contrast for me. It was the same reason I thought Andrew Garfield was a bad Peter Parker, but an okay Spider-Man. Yeah, right. Because he was not nerdy enough, or awkward enough, or believable enough as that nerdy person to be a good Peter Parker. He was quippy and a smartass, which makes him a good Spider-Man.
Yeah. Now, if we want a smart boy Beast, I think Alfred Molina should be.
Oh, that's just. I got to say it again because we kind of prepped a little bit and talked about this prior, but I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
And that's genius.
Yeah.
Like, that is brilliant.
I love Alfred Molina, and in Spider-Man 2, we've shown that he can handle some on stage effects.
Yeah.
Like being suspended and being strung up in wires. I think he could handle being
hanging around upside down.
Hanging around upside down,
claws.
being in a costume department for 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think as the intelligent man, he works, but he's also not in the best shape. Yeah. And I know Kelsey Grammer probably was not either.
No.
And that's not to say that you can't use prosthetics and makeup to make people look more in shape than they are. But, Beast, yes, he's jovial, he's intelligent. But when you see him, he's also like a buff dude. He's kind of ripped, Yeah. He has to be. That's his power, right? Is he's very animalistic and everything is instinctual. And that has to be part of it, too. But Alfred Molina, definitely the intelligent man, that's genius.
Yeah.
That's just perfect.
Yeah. That's probably my best cast.
So let's move on to Cyclops.
Yes, my favorite boy, actually. Did you know that?
Did I know Cyclops was your favorite character?
Yeah.
I mean, you do seem to like him. I don't know if I would have ever said he was your favorite character.
Well, now you know that.
Now I know. Yeah.
Next time we have a trivia night about me, you'll win.
I will. Assuming one of the questions is, what's his favorite X-Men character? Yeah. But Cyclops is, James Marsden has played the character, in the few movies and then the cameos in Days of Future Past and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And while I don't think he's a, bad choice, I do think he, again, is not physically Cyclops, right? Because, one of the things, and it's a goofy trope in comic books, right? But one of the things about most of these characters is, they're in the peak physical condition of their lives. You know what I mean? So while Cyclops does have to be that character, he also has to be taller and lithe. Like, his nickname was always Slim, right? But he's obviously got muscles. He's obviously beat you up if he wanted to. But Slim just became the joke that Wolverine would use to make him feel, inadequate, or I don't even know, whatever, just insulting him in some general way.
Yeah.
So I went through a lot of people before I arrived at this, and I arrived at Zac Efron.
See, I have Zac Efron in a different role, but I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that, at first I didn't want to take Zac Efron seriously. I thought he was just a pretty boy guy. But then I started seeing him do actual acting gigs, and I was like, wow, you're actually pretty good at this.
Yeah. The Greatest Showman, he was great.
Yeah. And he's buff, but he also doesn't look like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
When he's just normally clothed.
He's just fit.
And dressed. He's just a fit man, which is how I envision Cyclops. So that was where I went with that. But where'd you go with Cyclops?
So I have Armie Hammer.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. See, if you can be the Lone Ranger, I think you can be Cyclops, and that's just the golden rule.
See, I don't know if we should use Lone Ranger as an example, though, because that movie was terrible.
I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about the character.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
I also have Chris Pine as Cyclops.
And see, that I think is great. That's better than Zac Efron.
That is, if this was Pokemon, Zac Efron would become Chris Pine.
Yes. That's his evolution?
Yeah, it's his evolution. If you take a Moonstone to a Zac Efron, you get a Chris Pine.
All right.
Yeah.
But no, I do think that's great casting. Whether or not Chris Pine would be down for something like that, he's, he did do Steve Trevor, which, yes, is a character in a superhero movie. Not really a superhero, though. Yeah. He's just an everyman kind of guy.
I think he would have fun in a superhero cast.
Yeah, I think he would, too. He's obviously had fun with the Star Trek movies. How you feel about those is, very hotly debated among fans. I personally liked the first two, but I thought the third one was just god-awful.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's god-awful. And I'm not, no offense to anybody who enjoyed the movie. I just think, there was problems, obviously, with trying to make Star Trek more of an action-oriented story. And a lot of fans had problems with that. One of our best friends in particular, Zach, had huge problems with the idea of Star Trek as an action story. But while I think they balanced it well with the science fiction in the first two movies, I think they went way off the rails in the third movie and just focused. It's kind of like a Fast and the Furious movie with Star Trek.
Anyway, X-Men,
yes. So
those are my Cyclopses.
Yeah, and
Cyclopi.
And Cyclops is hard, right? He has to be the leader, but he also has to be vulnerable.
Yeah, but he also needs to be someone you can make fun of.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can have a laugh about because he's just too...
He needs to have legs all the way up.
Yeah. But anyway, so obviously, go from Cyclops, we'll go to Wolverine because...
We'll talk about his heel.
Yeah. So we've talked about, obviously, that we think Wolverine needs to be short.
Yes. Two things. Short bub. That's what you need.
I do agree. The bub. I think the bub is great. And a couple of times we've seen him say it in the movie. It's makes my little 8-year-old self squee in delight.
Yeah.
But yeah. So first of all, I really looked at I didn't know you could be so specific on Google. Like I literally said actors under 5 foot 5 inches tall, and it had a whole list of actors ready to go. I was just like, okay. So I whittled it down a little more from there, and I arrived at Tom Hardy.
Yep. And this is where we agree. I also have Tom Hardy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think that not only is he physically like a shorter person, he's like 5'2", 5'3", he's a short person.
Yeah.
But he's gruff.
Yeah.
And he has that toughness that you would expect Wolverine to have.
He's also in in Venom, he's hard to understand.
Yeah.
And I think that's a plus for the role of Wolverine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
The reality too is I think somebody already had done a mock-up of Tom Hardy as Wolverine.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, I think I saw it on like Instagram or something, but somebody did a mock-up of him, and he's got, it's just a drawing, but he's got a cigar in his mouth, he's got the claws, and the costume he's wearing is very Ultimate Wolverine.
Okay.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Because I think when you're going to adapt these, because we've seen them do the black leather, right? And that works to a certain extent. We've also seen what Marvel Studios is capable of is bringing that classic look to life on a real person.
Yeah.
And I think the Ultimate Universe is your best inspiration. Because the X-Men costumes in the Ultimate Universe, yes, were they leather and did they have those elements from the movies? Sure. But they also had elements of the classic costumes, right? Even though Cyclops' costume is a darker leather, he still has the big bandolier that goes across his chest like he's always had, It's not a bandolier. It's just like I don't even know what it is.
No, bandolier is the best way to describe it. It's a pointless bandolier.
Right, but there's nothing stored in it.
Yeah,
so
he doesn't keep extra eyes in there.
Right.
Like he just has... It's just tons of sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's like 10 sunglasses.
But so I do think that Tom Hardy is the perfect choice, right?
Yeah.
Because I think he will work well in that role.
I also had Jensen Ackles as an option.
Yeah,
because I know he is also a short, angry man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
he can
short, angry, cigar hanging out of your mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I also like the idea because it's always been a funny comic thing. We talked about it a little earlier when we were commenting on this. Is having him have to look up to be intimidating.
Yeah,
I just think that's funny and it makes for a good physical comedy.
Yeah.
When he's got to get in Cyclops' face, he can't actually get in Cyclops' face.
Yeah. The higher version of this is watching Rocket Raccoon.
Sure.
That you also get the same thing with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Little angry guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next, let's go into the female characters because I do want to comment on Nightcrawler, but that was not on your list while these characters were. So Jean.
I typed Nightcrawler.
Oh, I thought you didn't.
No.
Oh, okay.
You're wrong.
I'm sorry. So Jean obviously has to be someone who is capable of working the love triangle that is... Or, I mean...
She has to deal with these unruly boys.
She does.
Yeah.
And while I do think that Famke Janssen was fine, I think she did a fine job as the character. And what I've seen of Sophie Turner in just the one movie that she plays Jean in, I think she's fine too, right? Like, I'm fine with that. Or the 2 movies, because it's Days of Future Past and Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
Did she pop up in Days of Future Past? Yeah, she did. Yeah, she had to.
Yeah, she was at the end.
Yeah. Okay, so, I think she's fine. We'll see what she does with the Dark Phoenix story. But in looking at actresses that I think could play the role, I mean, I had a lot of names, and I kind of whittled it down, and I arrived at Emily Blunt.
Which is good.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go into the whole thing I talked about earlier when we were discussing this, is Emily Blunt is the person I wanted to play Captain Marvel initially. Now, don't get me wrong, I am very happy with Brie Larson. I think the trailers look great. I can't wait to see the movie. I think we're all very excited about finally getting to see Carol take center stage. But Emily Blunt was one of the rumored actresses that they were talking to about the role, and that made me very excited. And mostly because of Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah. I think I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow is not the best movie, right? I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan, I just watched it because it seemed like an interesting science fiction premise of this man who's living the same day in a war over and over again.
Yeah, this is future gruff Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. With robots.
Yeah.
With, robot fights and stuff.
Future.
Yeah. But so the reason to watch that movie, though, is not because of its interesting science fiction premise or because of Tom Cruise. It's Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
She is the person that is going to draw you in. She is the best reason to watch that movie. And again, it's not the best movie, but it's worth watching because her performance is fantastic.
Yeah.
And she showed us not only in that movie that she could play an action star, which is Carol to a T for me, but she could also play an intelligent person, a softer, more intelligent person that also has this great strength.
Yeah.
Which is why she's on my list for Jean.
Yeah. For Jean, I could only think of, I have two names for everything except for Jean. For her, I have Cara Delevingne, who played, she was, I can't remember her name. She was in Valerian. She was the counter to Valerian.
She's the lead. Yeah, she's the other lead.
Yeah, and she was also Enchantress in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And she is just like an up-and-coming, one of my favorite female stars right now.
She may have made some bad career choices, though, because
Why?
Suicide Squad and Valerian did very badly.
I love both of those movies.
Well, you're in the minority, James.
I don't like to think of that.
Most people hated Suicide Squad, and Valerian, while I was very excited about seeing a new vision from the director of The Fifth Element, didn't capture me like The Fifth Element did.
It was so good.
Anyway.
Let's just agree with you wrong.
Anyway, moving on to Storm, this was a hard one.
Yes.
Right? Because in all reality,
all the best actresses are already in Marvel.
Yeah, they're already part of Black Panther.
Yeah.
And while I think that's perfect, but when I was like looking at the list, I just kept having to skip names. I was like, no, Lupita Nyong'o, you'd be great, but you're already in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh, Denai Guerrera, yeah, you'd be good too, but you're already in Black Panther. Like, I just had to, okay, I'm just going to move on. So in looking for Storm, I took a different route because I always envisioned Storm. I mean, she's been the leader of many X-Men teams. She was the leader of the blue team, or the gold team, because Cyclops was the leader of the blue team. For a while, right? In the old 90s X-Men, when they split everything into multiple books, you had to buy 6 X-Men comics just to keep up with everybody.
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I always envisioned Storm as the more maternal of the female characters, the female lead characters in the story. So instead of looking at just generally like actresses that I thought would be good for the role, I restricted it to actresses over 40. Because I think she should be an older actress.
Yes.
And it might not seem like, the best pick, but hear me out for a sec. I went with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Okay.
And the reason is because she is fantastic, but she always ends up in movies that are not good. Now that, again, some people just have bad choices, right? They make bad choices. They think, oh, this sounds...
Well, they also don't always have a choice.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's let's be honest. These are rich people. Sometimes it means,
you don't know
I'll go do this movie for the paycheck.
You also don't know that movie's going to be bad going into it.
It's true. You don't.
Yeah.
But she's great. Like, I use The Matrix as an example because she's in The Matrix 2 and 3 as, just another person that is part of the Resistance.
Wasn't she like Morpheus' sister or something like that?
Was she related to Morpheus?
Maybe she was related to like the Gunner or whatever his name was. I haven't seen those movies in a while.
It's been a while.
She was a relative.
Yeah, but she's fantastic in the movie. But again, those movies are not that good. They're okay.
Okay.
The Matrix is where they should have stopped. You don't need to tell me the story of what happens next. I don't need to know. The Matrix is perfect.
Unfortunately, Hollywood is obsessed with the number 3.
I get it. Yeah, sequels are important. But so I think Jada Pinkett Smith in a movie surrounded by actors that are good at their jobs and in a movie that has a solid story that is going to entertain as well as make you think, because one of the things the X-Men's always done well has been a commentary on segregation and racism, right? And if that element is not part of your story, you're not making an X-Men story. You know what I mean? You missed something. You missed the point of this.
Right. Go back and try again.
Right. And Marvel Studios is not going to miss the point. They're not. They've proven to us that they're very capable of making these characters exactly who we expect them to be. And so for Storm, I think Jada Pinkett Smith.
So with the idea that Storm is someone that the team can go to, the wise woman of the party.
Yeah.
I went to the other wise woman that I see in entertainment, and that is Garnet from Steven Universe. So I think Estelle would be a good job.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's only done, to my knowledge, I think she's only done voice acting.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean, I mean, she's also a musician. Like she does live performances. I think you can equate that to being an actress.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also have Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
From the upcoming Marwen movie.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
gonna be in that.
Yeah, and you were telling me about that. And actually, Welcome to Marwen is something I'm very interested in. Like, it looks very interesting. Not only that, I like to see Steve Carell try to be serious.
Yeah.
He's good at it.
Yeah.
He just rarely ever does it. He just likes to be goofy.
Most of his recent roles have all been serious, which is an interesting change for him.
Yeah, because, goofy is kind of his thing.
And it'll be interesting to see Janelle Monáe, if she does become Storm, be an action figure before she's a superhero.
Yeah, that's the point of that whole thing. He builds that little world where they're all action. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's just beautiful. Another problem that, Storm, because I saw when I was looking at the list, someone that was on the list of women over 40 that was perfect. I was just like, Angela Bassett.
Mm-hmm.
Angela Bassett's perfect. But she's already Black Panther's mom.
Yeah. That's the problem.
That's it. they got all the best people, and they drew them all in, and now they're already a part of it.
Yeah, they're going to run out of actors. They're going to have to make new actors.
I know. But so then let's go to Rogue and what I think about what they've done with Rogue in the movies. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I do think it's good to have Rogue be a younger character, someone who's coming into her powers for the first time and trying to balance that with the life of being a teenager and having to go to school at this place, right, with all these superheroes. The difference is we didn't get Rogue out onto the team enough, right? Like, I understand why she's, not out in the field with them because she's a student. Mm-hmm. I'm quoting there, a student.
Mm-hmm. Good quote on that podcast.
Right, but that's fine as long as you let her come along every now and again, right? Yeah. She's still powerful and a hero in her own right. And starting over with her, making her young in their first movie, means you could do the Carol story. You could have Carol's, transformation happen through Rogue and allow Rogue to have super strength and fly.
Yeah.
Because that's something we haven't seen her do. But that's like a staple of her powers.
That's true.
You could even throw Rogue onto the Brotherhood of Mutants side as her original story told, right? That she joined these people because they promised a world where she was going to be safe and free.
And they were wrong.
Well, they were wrong, of course. So I looked at a lot of very, very talented young actresses to try to think of who could do this, and I arrived at Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Right. Who I have some disagreements with.
Because?
I think she would be better as an older headmistress Kitty.
Of course.
I don't know what it is about her, but she may be young, but she looks older.
Sure.
Like she looks like she would be the same age as the rest of the cast.
But she can also carry herself as a younger person because she is a younger person.
That's
right.
True.
So you could have
and she's a good actress.
She's very good, right? So you could have her be a believable teenage woman coming to this school for the first time. Mm-hmm. Or even coming to this school because she's losing her mind like she did in the comic world.
Yeah.
So I looked at some women when I was looking at this list too who are actually Southern. Because, again, that was one of my problems with Anna Paquin is the Southern accent just felt very fake.
It came up like every now and then. Yeah. She'd use a y'all every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't really part of her characterization. So, like, someone who speaks with an accent naturally wouldn't have to fake it. You just speak with your accent, right? Speak your normal voice.
Do it.
Yeah. But ultimately, I couldn't find anybody that worked well for Rogue, for the younger version of the character that I think would be perfect to introduce that character, through the story in that way. But you had Rogue too.
I do have Rogue. I had one Rogue that was in the back of my mind. I didn't even write it down. I actually don't even have her last name. But her first name is Saoirse, and she played the love interest from Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay.
I probably should have looked up her last name before we started this.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But I know her first name is pronounced Saoirse, even though it doesn't look like it. But yeah, she is a very cool actress who was also in Lady Bird, a recent phenomenal movie. Okay. Which, I mean, if it improved her acting chops and proved she can take on this role.
Sure.
Yeah.
Rogue's an interesting character because, the way we know her in the 90s was an adult as part of the team and going out. But trying to integrate the younger character, I mean, if you're not going to do Jubilee, which Jubilee's in the story, right? She's not a part of the story. She was supposed to be a bigger part of Days of Future Past, I think, but her scenes got cut, right? Their whole thing at the mall where she was very Jubilee and even used her powers to like get them a free game at the arcade or something.
Yeah.
But so if you're not going to do that character, I think having the young character like Rogue or Kitty is a great way to show that this is still school as well as a team of superheroes.
I think I would rather see them use Kitty than
And I think
Rogue.
they probably will.
Yeah.
Kitty's a very integral part of a lot of X-Men stories, especially modern X-Men stories, because she's in charge now.
Yeah.
But even older X-Men stories, she's a great big part of them because she's a great character.
Yeah.
Like she's somebody that really has not gotten utilized properly in the movies.
Yeah, and I could also see Mary Elizabeth Winstead being cool with Colossus, the Colossus that we've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to do Nightcrawler before?
So yes, Nightcrawler, and then I think we're onto the evil list.
Yeah.
Or no, Angel.
Yeah, I have Angel
and Iceman.
Yeah.
Yes, we gotta do Angel and Iceman, and then we'll move on to the villains.
Yeah. Yeah, Nightcrawler.
So yeah. Go ahead. You go first.
Well, the first one I have is I needed to have someone that could be that could crouch for a long time,
right?
And could pull off a beard because I love me some bearded Nightcrawler.
That's true. It does look really good.
Yeah, and the first one I have is Caleb Landry Jones.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
He was in Get Out, and he played like the young trigger happy son. I think.
I do know who that is.
Yeah, and he's been in a couple other things, but that was probably his biggest breakout. I think. Was that role. But yeah, I would like to see him. I also had Andrew Garfield as a possible redemption.
I don't know if Andrew Garfield belongs in the superhero world after what happened.
If he can't be Spider-Man, let him do someone else that can crouch. Because he can crouch.
He can do the crouch. That's fine. I just don't know if Andrew Garfield has the acting talents to pull off the softer emotional beats that are Nightcrawler, the religious character.
I'm willing to give this man a second chance.
I could give him a second chance. I'm not going to say I couldn't.
Yeah.
But just the Spider-Man thing, man, it really stuck in my craw. And I was just not happy with how he portrayed the character. Okay. And so
I'll be sure to tell him when I see him.
All right, you let him know. Hey, I'm sorry. You tried hard, but those movies were not good.
Jason hates you.
Yeah.
I also have Iceman.
Yeah.
And because Iceman, when you said to do like the original X-Men, I thought Iceman.
Sure. Yeah.
And Beast and Angel.
Yeah.
So for Iceman, I have Zac Efron, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I think he could pull off the jovial, like lighthearted.
I agree. But I also think that Aquaman, I'm losing my mind. Iceman works better as a younger character as well, like because of again the reminder that it's still a school. Yeah, it's not just a big team of superheroes.
But he's also he should be the same age as like Jean and Scott.
See, I think he should be more the same age as Rogue. I liked the way they did that.
I disagree.
Where they were both students. I didn't like the whole relationship thing. I liked the fact that they were both students. Though.
Yeah,
I really dug that.
Because Iceman's gay.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't at the time. We didn't know that.
He's always been gay.
Right, but he was with Kitty in the comics.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So it was something that was not known to us. He went on a journey that we went on. With
It wasn't
him.
known to him. Yeah.
Right. We went on with him where he met his future self and finally understood. Oh God.
Yeah.
He's right. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Right. So he wasn't at the time, but again, I just think he works better as a younger character.
Okay, I'll agree to disagree.
Even if he's not super young, right? Even if he was like, oh, these guys are in their 30s and he's in his 20s, I still think he works better. I think he works better as a youthful, exuberant person in the story.
Perhaps a bit. I also had Dave Franco as a possible Iceman.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in with that.
Yeah.
Because Dave Franco can play young guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it doesn't matter that he's in his 30s. He can still look like he's in his teens.
He can crack his voice.
Yeah.
He can crack his voice like you can crack your knuckles.
Exactly.
And for Angel, I had Lee Pace, Mr. Handsome Nose Man.
He's already Ronan.
Yeah. Is Ronan still alive?
Well, no, but he's going to be in Captain Marvel.
Go.
He's going to be in Captain Marvel.
He can be reincarnated as Angel.
Reincarnated?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was also under Happy Midgate.
That's true.
Yeah. And I also had Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades of Grey.
See, that I like.
Yeah, I like handsome, kind eyes.
Well, right. I also think that
Angel had to be handsome. That was my core criteria.
We've not delved into the idea of Angel as a businessman. Ward Worthington III ran Worthington Industries.
Yeah.
He was a businessman who hid his mutation so that he could be a businessman and have, people who aren't going to be racist towards him because he's a mutant.
Yeah.
And we haven't explored that aspect at all. I think that guy's great. I didn't watch those movies, but I've seen trailers, and he's a suave guy. He looks like a businessman, you know? So, yeah, I could see that. Good blonde hair. You got to blonde him up a little bit. But, yeah. So before we move on to the villains, I also had a pick for Nightcrawler, and it's cool. When I was thinking about Nightcrawler, I really was looking at guys who have done heavy makeup and prosthetic things in their movies, because it's really hard, you know, to be a CG character or heavily makeup and prosthetic and still have a performance that comes through and allows people to look at you, and even though they can't tell, they still know who you are, right? And so recently, I watched. I mean, not recently. Back when it came out, we watched It, and that's why Alexander Skarsgård is my pick.
Okay.
Because not only is he clearly comfortable with sitting in a makeup chair for hours and hours on end, but the performance comes through.
Yeah.
It's whether the clown makeup's there or not, this man's terrifying, and he scares you, right? And I just think that impressed upon me just a really, really dedicated guy who, no matter what they throw at him, man, he's still going to be good at this job. And so he's creepy. Yeah. And I love the dichotomy between Nightcrawler, who is the religious person, but he looks like a demon. Yeah. Right? I love that. I always have done that cross section of who he is. And Alexander Skarsgård, like I said, even without makeup, the guy's pretty creepy looking.
Yeah. He can pull off a beard.
Yeah. But so I also, like I said, I went to the villains, and I just did the core group: Magneto, Mystique, Sabretooth, Toad, the people who have appeared in the first movie as the bad guys.
And I did not make up this list, so I'm just going to be disapproving of all your choices.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to start with Magneto.
Already disappointed.
Already. All right. Because Magneto is the linchpin, right? And he, not even just to the Brotherhood of Mutants, but to the story in general, right? Because Magneto represents the mutant who's looking at this from a scientific perspective and looking at the evolution of mankind. Whenever something new comes along, it almost immediately is followed by the extinction of the previous thing. We can look at primitive man as it's moved along the chain, right? It's just the natural order of things. It's just our nature to destroy that which is inferior to us. And Magneto doesn't look at it as he is superior. He believes it is his genetic responsibility to get Homo sapien off the planet. Yeah. This is not Homo sapiens' planet anymore. This is Homo superior's planet now, right? Because that's just how evolution works. And so in the Ultimate Universe, they did an interesting thing where mutants were actually created by an experiment. So their whole bloodline, their whole genealogy came from the fact that someone was trying to make them, right? And that took the wind right out of Magneto's sails when he finally found that out, because he believed it was his right to replace humankind when it wasn't God's destiny, it wasn't his evolution, it was an experiment gone wrong that ended up giving birth to a whole genealogy of these people who have this mutant X gene. But I think it works better when the scientific basis actually supports his claim. Because then he becomes Hitler, which is the ultimate, it's hard. You don't want to offend, right? Because Magneto is a Holocaust survivor. Yeah. But the reality is the way he sees Homo superior is the same way Adolf Hitler saw white men, right? We are superior. You are genetically inferior to us. You must be destroyed. Yeah. It's a terrible comparison to make because this man is a Holocaust survivor, but Professor Xavier has shoved that in his face many times throughout the comics history. You are going to become the thing you hate.
You haven't even named an actor, and I'm still disapproving.
I know, right? So this has to be someone who can just carry all of that, right? All of this weight. And so for me, there was nobody better than Gary Oldman. Yeah. He's really good at acting, no matter what he's in. He's been in some terrible movies.
He's kind of small.
He's kind of small, but so was Ian McKellen. And he had like a prosthetic chest that he would wear to make him look bulkier. Yeah. So again, we can get around, who you are. And if Marvel's proved anything, it's that it can take someone who might not be in the best shape, put them in good shape just in time for their movie. Look at Chris Pratt. Right. Man dropped like 60 pounds in a couple of months to play Star-Lord. Even so much they had to have a joke about it on Parks and Rec. When he filmed that next season, he came back and he wasn't fat Andy Dwyer anymore. Yeah. Like, what'd you do? Oh, I just stopped drinking beer. That's it? You just stopped drinking? Yeah, I dropped like 50 pounds. I just stopped drinking beer. It was to drink a lot of beer. It was too much. So Gary Oldman is my choice because I think the man just has the weight.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
he has the significance in his voice.
Yeah. He's been in some great movies. Mm-hmm. He's also been in some pretty terrible movies because in all reality, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Great story. Movie's kind of lackluster. And it's not because of Gary Oldman. It's because of Keanu Reeves.
Because Dracula.
It's because of Keanu Reeves. He's not a British man. He's bad at playing a British man. He sounds fake doing a British accent. It was terrible. But Dracula is terrifying and intimidating and romantic.
Who should play Dracula in the Marvel Universe?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get Joe Manganiello for that.
He could do Dracula from the Marvel Universe. I think that would be perfect.
Yeah.
But so then I went to Mystique. And a plot point that's been hinted at in the movies but never actually been fully explored is that Mystique is actually genetically Nightcrawler's mother.
What?
Spoilers. That happened a long time ago.
Disapproval.
That happened a long time ago. They did a storyline called The Draco where they explained Nightcrawler's origin. And Azazel came to Earth and was bedding mutant women in the hopes of creating children that had the teleportation powers, because when you put them all together, they could open a portal to hell. And Azazel is the devil. He's the Marvel Universe's devil. So he wanted to open a portal to hell so he could bring all his forces to Earth and take over.
Yeah.
So Mystique rejects this idea, and Nightcrawler goes through his whole life not knowing that Mystique is his mother. And while, again, they've hinted at that, I think it's a great story to bring into... because it's something that just hasn't been done in a movie before.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the first movie, but...
No, but it's a story we could pepper in there and kind of seed the way they did with Thanos. You know what I mean? So I looked at actresses that are over 40 again. I kept going back to that list because I kept looking at the more maternal people to play these characters, and I arrived at Charlize Theron.
Yeah, which is a good decision.
Because I think
you have my approval.
Not only is she an actress that is over 40, so she has the experience, right? And she, makeup and stuff. Mystique's heavily prosthetic and stuff like that. But she can play the kind of gravitas that someone who's motherly is commanding in their scenes. But she's also proved with things recently like Atomic Blonde that she can still kick some ass. Right? Like she's still capable of performing stunts, kicking ass, and that's who Mystique is. Mystique has to have that ability to kick your ass. So I think Charlize Theron, and I'm sticking with that, and I hope they go with that because that would be great.
Yeah.
And then I went to Sabretooth. And Sabretooth is hard because he's we talked about this a little earlier. His whole character motivation is he's big, he doesn't like Wolverine, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
That's pretty much Sabretooth in a nutshell. Right?
And you know what, in the 2000 movie, I watched that today while I was making this list. He actually doesn't even know Wolverine exists until that movie.
Exactly.
So before that, he was just big.
And a dick.
Yeah.
And Tyler Mane did it perfectly, right? Tyler Mane looked the part. He was very reserved. He didn't say much, which is who Sabretooth is.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go in a different direction, and I really think this person that I've come to is someone who said in interviews that they really don't want to be a part of superhero movies. They just think it's not something that they want for their career. But I wish he would change his mind because Gerard Butler would be great as Sabretooth.
Yeah, we just need to strap him in a chair. And let's have a conversation with him.
Strap him in a chair and have a conversation. You're talking about mind conditioning, brainwashing him into thinking this is good for his career.
I'm not saying anything here.
You said strap him into a chair.
Some chairs have straps. That makes them comfortable.
Okay. Whatever you need to tell yourself. But so yeah, and then last but not least, Toad.
Yeah.
And Toad is somebody that
What's Toad's real name?
Mortimer Tonby.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not.
Mortimer Tonby. What a sweet name.
Tonby. Yeah. And so I looked at Toad is also somebody that's tiny, right? So that was another filter I had to put through the Google was actors under 5 feet tall, right? That are just tiny people or close to that, right? I think it was under 5'5" or something. And Toad, while Ray Park played him very well, and I think he was good physically.
Yeah.
He didn't really look as monstrous as Toad does look. Toad actually kind of looks amphibious in the comic world. That's just how he's drawn. So I think to myself, this is also somebody that's going to probably have to do some prosthetics. If they're going to do Toad the way he should, the way they should, he's going to have a little prosthetic thing going on to make him look more monstrous.
Yeah.
Um,
More vivid toad-like.
but so I also wanted somebody who can kind of outsmart you, right? Because that's always been Toad's thing. He's not the most powerful mutant.
Yeah.
He will never be the most powerful mutant.
You don't know that.
It's not going to happen. The point is, he's smart,
Mm-hmm.
right? He can outthink you. So I arrived at Dominique Monaghan.
Yes, that is correct.
And
That is the correct role.
And if you're unfamiliar with Dominique Monaghan, he was Merry in Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done other things. I mean, I was looking up clips and stuff to try to get a feel for who he is, because I know who he is as Merry, right? And that's, weird. You're playing a hobbit. That's a very different type of role.
Yeah.
So I looked at some other things, but he definitely is, capable of the pontificating that would make him seem like he's superior, or trying to imply that he's superior.
Yeah.
But he's also tiny.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty tiny guy.
He's a small boy.
It's not a joke that he played a hobbit. I mean, he did play a hobbit, but he's actually kind of tiny. But so that's it. That's the list that we went through.
Mm-hmm.
In all reality, I'm just excited to get the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to happen. And Marvel has, Kevin Feige and the guys over at Marvel Studios have proved they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know how to make these movies and interconnect them and keep the continuity pretty tight. I mean, there's a couple of errors here and there, things that they had to retcon or whatever, but for the most part, it all feels very cohesive. And at a time when we're losing so many of the principal actors, this is a great time for the X-Men and the Fantastic Four,
Mm-hmm.
right, to be brought into this and set up a conflict between the two.
Put Wolverine in the Avengers like he's meant to be.
Put Wolverine on, every team. Why not? He's
on
always
every
been on every team. Let's just put Wolverine on every team.
Yeah.
If there's a team up, Wolverine's there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter why.
Not Cyclops. Cyclops is off every team. He hates the Avengers. It's like The Sims. Put Wolverine here. Put Scott there. Roro, you stay there.
I remember when that was actually a thing. I remember when they did, after Regenesis, right, when they did the whole schism thing and they split the teams, when they brought them back together and Cyclops was in charge and it was on Utopia, there was literally a whole series of panels where he's telling people what their assignments are, and they're all bitching about their assignments because nobody's up. And Wolverine actually has a line of dialogue that says, "I can't be on every team." Because it was just the writer making a joke about the fact that he's been on a lot of X-Men teams and Avengers teams and he's all over the place.
Yeah.
But there's literally a moment Cyclops is like giving people their marching orders and no one's happy. Everyone's upset.
No one likes Cyclops.
I remember when everyone was wearing those Cyclops was right t-shirts because of the whole, should he have killed Professor Xavier? Should he have not? Should he have united mutants under one banner? Should he have created X-Force? All of these things that he did that were just like, whoa, Cyclops, you're kind of crossing the line here.
Yeah.
He was right. I mean, ultimately, he was proven right.
Yeah. I've seen more Magneto was right shirts than I've seen Cyclops was right.
It's true. Magneto was right thing goes all the way back to Morrison's new X-Men run, though. That was where the whole Magneto was right thing started. Because Magneto had secretly disguised himself as Zorn, one of the mutants, and was teaching a class about how Magneto was right, basically. I mean, it was supposed to be Magneto, teaching. It turned out to be a clone of him or some stupid crap. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But the point is, I remember when those t-shirts started, too. Quentin Quire was the first person to walk around the school wearing a Magneto was right shirt.
Oh, that sounds like him.
Yeah, just trying to get a rise out of everybody.
Yeah.
But so that's going to bring us to the end. I want to thank James for taking the time out of his day to, figure out who should play these characters and debate it with me for a little while.
For sure. Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at JamsWilk, JamsWilk.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You can also find us on the social medias as well at facebook.com/entertainmentgeeky, twitter.com/entertaingeeky. We're over on Instagram. Instantgram.
You can find us in the oatmeal aisle at instantoatmeal.entertaingeeky.
Instagram at entertaingeeky. And we're going to do, in the coming weeks, we're also going to talk about the Fantastic Four. I've got Roger from the ETG podcast going to come on the show, and we're going to probably have a very different kind of show, I would imagine, than the one you've just listened to. But that's really because Roger's kind of argumentative, and he brings that out in me as well.
Sure.
But thank you for sitting in and listening with us. Stay tuned to Entertain the Geeky. This week, we've got some interesting stuff. We're supposed to see a Hellboy trailer.
Yeah, on Thursday.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
That's going to be fantastic. I think that David Harbour looks fantastic in the makeup. The poster, it's all great. But so stay tuned to Entertain the Geeky. We've got some more stuff coming up, and we'll try to keep you informed. Until next time, guys, stay geeky.